But this jacket has a Godfather theme to it. It's got like the imagery. So when you look at like, The Godfather, Goodfellas, like all these movies, right? Casino, how accurate are they in portraying the mob life?
Obviously The Godfather, 1 and 2, not 3, but 1 and 2 were just brilliant movies, probably 2 of the best movies made of all time, without a doubt. But they were fictional. But the character development, it was just amazing movies, wonderful. But again, fictional. People ask me all the time, what's the most accurate mob movies out there? And I'm obviously a critic of mob movies because authenticity means a lot to me. I got to see them authentic or I'm turned off. The most authentic mob movie ever made, is going to be probably a surprise to you, in my opinion, was the 1996 HBO Gotti movie with Armand Assante and Anthony Quinn. Brilliantly done. It was so accurate because much of the script was written off the surveillance tapes of Gotti at that time. And it was just so brilliantly acted. Armand, he played Gotti better than Gotti could play himself, And Anthony Quinn, there was a scene where Anthony Quinn was, talking to Gotti, Armand Assante, because Armand had killed a made guy, which you can't do. There was a scene, he played it so well, it actually gave me the chills. It was so accurate. Anthony Quinn was brilliant. He played Neil Delacroix, who was the, underboss at that time.
You knew these guys in real life.
Oh, yeah, no, I knew them all. And it was just wonderful. Next, Goodfellas, obviously, they mentioned my name there. I knew all those guys there. It was done extremely well with that cast. How can you go wrong? Bronx Tale, Chaz Palminteri is a good friend, brilliantly done. I always tease Chaz. I said, Chaz, you've done amazing movies, but you're never better than you were as Sonny in the Bronx Tale. He was terrific, killed the role. And Donnie Brasco, brilliant film. I have actually become very close friends with Donnie Brasco, Joe Pistone now. I always tease him, Joe, I'm glad I didn't know you too well on the street back then. I only met him one time back then, but those are great movies.
So all of these movies describe the mob life and sort of the Italian organizations, but you had like you had the Jewish mob, you had the Russians. How are those different?
Well, listen, the Jewish mob had a lot to do with the success of Cosa Nostra. Because remember, Meyer Lansky, guy of substance, very close with Lucky Luciano.
And that guy lost his mind at the end, didn't he? Or did he pretend to?
Yeah, pretended to. I don't think he really did. Bugsy Siegel, again, him, Meyer Lansky, and Luciano, good friends. And they played Lansky played a big role in creating the commission, along with Luciano. So he had a lot to do with it. He was also tremendous force in gambling.
Did the Jews and the Italians trust each other?
Yeah. Oh yeah, absolutely. I had a lot of Jewish friends, and we did business together, good business, The Russians, for almost 8 years, they were my partners in the gas business, 3 of them. Three of the best partners I ever had. They did what they said they were going to do. They worked hard. We made a tremendous amount of money together. But the Russian mob, they don't have a structure like we had. They were more clannish. The guy that kind of exerted himself, who had the most money, who had the biggest presence, he was kind of the boss. And they didn't have a real structure, It was all dependent upon how close you got with him and how much authority he gave you. But, good group, no doubt.
Well, it's something you see culturally in Eastern Europe is that there's much less trust between people. So it makes sense that they wouldn't have such a, organized or predictable structure because, people do what's best for themselves. Yeah. And that kind of leads to a little bit of self-cannibalization, let's say, in an organization. That's why I was wondering, and it probably is why the Russians never really grew like a very highly organized type of a thing, but you have a few guys here and there that would just operate in different cells.
Yeah, I'll tell you a quick story. When I first got together with 3 Russians in the gas business, they had a small operation. And so we were getting together, and I said, all right, here's how we're going to cut this deal. I said, it's going to be 75% us, my end, 25% your end. And one of them looked at me, and he was kind of their leader, Mike Markowitz, and he said, well, Mike, Mr. Michael, that doesn't seem fair to me. I said, no, it's very fair. He said, why? I said, because we're on the street, you're going to try to steal from me a little bit. At least I won't be that upset because I got the major portion. I said, but don't let me catch you. So I'll never forget, he went and huddled with his other 2 partners, and he came back and he put out his hand and he said, we have a deal. So they understood, the street life, what is it about, But look, when you're on the street, you got to give people a little bit of leeway because you understand their mentality. But if you're making money, what's the difference,
That's such a wonderful way you phrase that. I'm going to steal that from you in a sort of leadership capacity. Because, when you run an organization or a company, people always try to take advantage of rules. Or like that, and that's why, unfortunately, you sometimes have rules. You don't want to have stupid rules, but sometimes you have to have rules because people will act in a way that you might perceive to be unethical, but they're doing what's best for them. And I always say, look, you're allowed to be a pig here and there, but don't become a hog.
Exactly, exactly. You know, it's like I told my crew, you know, I said, I had 15 guys, I put them down in a room one day, and I said, listen, if anybody wants to get made, don't stay here. This is not the crew for you. They looked at me. They said, well, how come? I said, very simple. If I promote you and you get made, I lose you. You're your own person at that time. All the time and effort I put into you is gone. I said, so why would I do that? I said, however, if you want to make money, this is the place to be, because I'm going to make everybody earn. Nobody left. I
say that it's so brilliant. And again, I love the transparency. You say to our guys, you know, look, a CFO, a chief financial officer, always says, what if you invest in this person and they leave? And the CEO says, what if I don't and they stay? Mm-hmm. So it's the same principle, right?
Same principle.
Yeah.
Hey, business is business, whether it's on the street or it's legitimately business.
No, listen, all business is legitimate business. What defines what's the street is the
It's like what Luciano said. There's no such thing as bad money or good money. It's only money.
Yeah, that's actually very true. Money doesn't care. Yeah. It just goes to the most competent person.
Exactly.
Crazy. All right, brilliant. Love that.